Welcome, fellow armchair generals, to Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 10.33 and many other submods. Thank you all for being here. And can you do me a really, really big favor? You know you're already all subscribed, of course, and you've checked again to make sure you're still subscribed. I've been having some recent monetization issues. But well, with YouTube. But what I would really, really like is somehow you could share this video out. Whether that means telling an actual friend to watch it, or on a social media platform, which, yeah, I know Twitter and whatnot are terrible, terrible places, and if you don't want to be involved in that, totally get that. But I don't know, like on a Discord forum, or on a Paradox forum in the appropriate place, or something else, one of these videos, whether this one or someone else, say, hey, I'm watching this great series, you might want to check it out, that kind of thing. So do be careful. Sometimes the thumbnail images for the Paradox might not be appropriate, so yeah, I don't know. I did get spanked the other day by posting a thumbnail link, or a link with a thumbnail in it, from Paradox people just a few days ago. They were nice about it and all, but yeah, don't do this. But basically, don't do this anymore. So yeah, but if you could share out one of these, and some of them will have very few, controversial images in them, shall we say. If you would share out a video, because I really love channel growth, that would really help me out. Okay, small warship, anti-submarine warfare advances. Very, very nice. Okay, yes. Okay. Yeah, motor torpedo boats will do that. Now, this is an interesting thing I just thought of here. Okay. Small warship. Motor torpedo subdetection. Maybe I'll talk to the Black Ice guys about it. I know they don't watch all these videos, but that should have a lot less subdetection for. Oh, I want to talk here. Okay, pause. That should have a lot less subdetection than the other ones. What they found during World War II, for this, I'm talking the U.S. I don't know about all the other nations. But they put various hydrophones. It was, I think, specifically hydrophones, where high frequency direction finding. That's trying to get radios. You're trying to find enemy radio broadcasts and find out where they are. And radar is, of course, radar going off of them. But they also have active sonar, that goes ping, that whole ping back and forth thing. You know what I'm talking about. I don't see that specifically here, other than maybe ASW. So maybe it's hydrophones that should be. Yeah, okay, no, it's maybe hydrophones instead of ASW. Yeah, that should probably be radically reduced for motor torpedo boats, because what they found is that no matter where they placed it, and again, we're looking at motor torpedo boats that sort of look like that kind of thing, not torpedo boats that are just a little too small to be considered a ship. They're sort of below the class of what would be a frigate, but they, aren't quite, a fast attack craft. Like the U.S. didn't, to my knowledge, make anything to be a torpedo boat. Germany did during this time, and you found torpedo boats were quite common sort of late 19th century, and then they came up with this torpedo boat destroyer, because torpedo boats were thought to be able to sink battleships, and battleships were very, very expensive. So they built torpedo boat destroyers, which eventually get shortened into destroyer, and which becomes the class. But they also mount torpedoes on them, so they're sort of they're a do everything boat or do everything ship, but they are bigger than a torpedo boat. Okay, back to the motor torpedo boats. They found that for the hydrophones, particularly, and I think maybe also active sonar, but particularly hydrophones, is the combination of the engine noise, and I think it was primarily engine noise, but also sort of the speed through the water made hydrophones ineffective. When they stopped the engines, or turn them off or whatever, just go to idle and try to listen, they get thump, 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 thump. Even on stop, all the little wave action that's sitting up on the boat. And so the wave actions was interfering with the hydrophone. So basically, hydrophones don't work with motor torpedo boats. They just, at least according to the Americans, and that was studied, I don't know, 1942 or something, because they were wanting to use them as sub hunters, since they were already building a lot of these fast boats along the U.S. coastline, and as well as protecting ships out in the Pacific. So, yeah, motor torpedo boats and hydrophones particularly, but anti-submarine, okay, warfare should be something that maybe they should be able to do. And the Italian Moss boats were definitely used to going after British submarines, and Moss boats are basically motor torpedo boats. But I think a lot of the time they are being guided in by other vessels and or aircraft and or just simply spotting in the Mediterranean. So British submarines had to sort of dive and get out of the way of the Moss boats, and they were also in very shallow waters. So you sort of kind of know, oh yeah, signal to them, you're almost on it. Yeah, now start dropping your, the depth charges. Okay, how are we doing? Okay, 57 for. Okay, we're going to need a few more steel refineries, I think. Well, no, we're going to let this go. And I'm just going to click here. Yes, the top graphics are showing up here after the first of the month. Good. And so, yeah, because I just got to remember we are having, and we had a crash, ladies and gentlemen. That was a complete and total crash to desktop. I'm seeing my desktop, not the black screen. I think we're going to keep this episode in, but I'm going to go back and see about the autosave or something. Well, I guess I could do that now. The autosave looks good. Let's just see. Okay. Ooh, not nice. I really do hope we can play this series out. You're sort of, any of you playing this, I would like to hear your experiences with stability, instability, and whatnot. I do know very much so if you're doing alt tabbing out in and out of the game, yeah, that's going to crash this system. I learned that very early on. And so fortunately I have hotkeys set up to start OBS, and that might interfere with things, but I don't think so. And stop the recording, starting and stopping the recording. Okay, we're loading database 2. Loading files, history, or loading, history files. Creating checksum. No, I'm going to go back to before. I'm going to go back to the save before and go through. Let's see if it does the auto save again. Well, okay, so yeah, you're seeing this now. Okay, since that's just the 28th, I just prefer the things to work right. I do know some of you have played it quite a ways into it, but more feedback, the better. Okay, well, we're back in. Let's speed this up a bit. Okay, yes, we know about it, and I just talked about it. Yeah, okay, there. Industry. There we go. I just thought we got that done. Okay, yes. Abyssinia. Auto saving. Okay, good. Okay, well that's good. That worked. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, monumental architecture. And there. And the other is seaport capabilities, which I'm thinking, yeah, we're just going to let continue to run through 1937. I always fear with a crash like that, did one of the events cause it because bad coding, mine or somebody else's? Of course, mine, I have to solve that problem. Somebody else's, if we determine what it was, I get to go, I don't have to solve it, you do. Okay, heavy AA guns. We'll do that. Okay, German Yugoslavia trade agreement. We get money, lose some supplies, change relations with Yugoslavia or no. Okay, yes, do that. We have the supplies easy enough. Okay, again, we're talking about the SA here. Reich Ritter Führer School. Basically, that's National Writing Leader School. It was run by the sort of subgroup of the SA. And so this is okay, so it's under the inspectorship of the Reich Inspector for Rider and Drivers Training for the SA. So it's training SA men. Notice that's actually like the picture of the period watercolor. I think that is of the school, a badge, I think, for completion or something. I forget. And that's actually an SA period toy soldier. I did all that together. My great work, yes. Okay. So that's what the school looked like. So this is training people to be in the Ritter SA, which is growing capabilities for horsemanship for the army. So that's some of the function of the SA. Okay, this is at this time it is a World War I sailors memorial. It's put up there. There's Hitler, some admirals, general. I forget. I have to look at the close image of it again. So that's sort of finished. Yes, you have until June 36th, June 10th. So 10 days, well, 8 days, 6% ICs down, but it's short. Pulling that. This is a big artificial lake that they're building here, and that's it completed. So, yes, I don't give you a choice on some of these. Metal, yes. You could just not do it. Ice speed steam record. I'm not going to read all that. But yay, we build a fast train. Okay, let's see. Seaport level 1, yes, we'll do that. Those are expensive though, but yes. Okay, Austria, yes, you'll sell you supplies for money. Seaport level 1, now that will give us, yes, awesome. That will give us a little positive money and resource because we're shipping through. Broadcasting, okay, start a new season with more. Have a look at new programs. General Walther Wever, and he dies. That's the most likely outcome. It's possible that he could survive, but we'll use a switch over to focus more on lighter bombing and not so much on heavy bombing. Ireland, yes. Oh. Okay, now news, politics, heroic tales. I already know I want entertainment shows at this time. We've already got the small ones because of the Berlin radio events. Okay, this is an important event Just these are two schematics. That's the entryway. This is sort of covering the entryway. That's, I think, the main firing port for this bunker. There's sort of the entryway, comes dogleg around here again, main firing port. That's covering attacks. These are a couple bunkers. Either you have, this is your main choice here for TRE. Do you want a west wall? If you don't want a west wall, or if you want to build it simply by building the bunkers yourselves, pick no wall for the Reich. If you want the west wall, you pick this, and I'm just checking the metal levels. Yes, I've reduced the metal levels, but increased some of the other stuff. Just because, like, we're low, and when I built some of these, I was sort of spamming out the metal maybe more than it should be. But definitely, like, some of these are steel plates in here. Now it's cheap steel rebar or something going into building the bunkers, but there is metal in that. Energy, yeah, we just have an overabundance, so I hit you hard on that. But you also have, until the end of the game or until this goes away, this will go away as long as you continue the program appropriately and don't F with things. 3% loss in ICs and 1% in money, and national manpower out there building it. So yeah, you'll probably want to start that. But notice, there's nothing. That's just starting it. It's not like, oh, we've got it now. It's just starting the program. It will continue to go. Okay, Horus, that's sort of their Heil type thing for the Schweitzer National Front. Earlier on, we started to support the various Swiss Nazi movements. And so that's your sort of choice period. Do you want to support them? And then if you go yes, a lot of the other events you don't have a choice on. So I try to, on many things, I try to give you a choice. Sometimes it's either a choice between a little bad thing and a big bad thing, just because there's not everything's good. But yeah, blueprint stolen. Okay, tagged or SA Group A, Nord C. That's SA Day, basically, and there's a tinny from it. There's a poster for it, and that's supposedly, I believe, I have to look at the stuff. We can see the event. So that's up in Bremen. The SA, when they were along the coastal, and sometimes not along the coastal, they did sort of have a marine or sea program. I don't know that specifically that this is a sea unit, though it's a coastal SA. And so this is, these are going on, at least during good times of the year, probably not the dead of winter or whatever, but these are going on, all the time. It's just, local events going. And these are just sampling a lot of them. I don't know how many, but sampling a lot of this stuff. Okay, I think, again, and got a little chided for it, and I will be bringing modern day politics sometimes into this series. It's not going to focus on it. They were a little objection to me comparing Black Lives Matter to the SA. Well, a lot of times, Black Lives Matter is just simply is the same as Antifa. They just, instead of having Antifa, which is the anti-fascist Aktione, started by the Communist Party in Germany, it's just the modern communist version of the brown shirt. Sometimes Black Lives Matter are just simply the same people doing the same tactics and holding BLM posters up. So the sort of core Black Lives Matter are very similar to the SA in their tactics. Maybe not in their beliefs, but in how they're getting power. And a lot of the program here is social justice. And if you want to look up Father Coughlin and who was a populist progressive radio priest whose slogan is social justice, is a strong supporter of the Union Party. There's in the USA, the Union Party is an anti-capitalist, anti-communist leftist party. So they're leftist, but they're anti-communist, they're anti-capitalist, and often support for Hitler and Mussolini. Now, I do believe Father Coughlin to actually, well, I don't believe, he was a priest, but he believed in God. He would not have supported Hitler's anti-Christian viewpoints, I'm absolutely sure of. But I don't think that was well reported in the U.S. to know how Christian and particularly anti-Catholic Hitler was, being growing up in Catholic Germany, Austria, and then early, then young adulthood in Bavaria and whatnot. Very anti-Catholic. I don't think he got that message, but yeah. So this him out there spouting pro-German propaganda is improving relations. Invest in our schools of war. This is a GGA event, so yes, we'll spend the money, the manpower, and the supplies, and get some more schools. And so you be very, very wary of any social justice movement. Social justice is not a good thing, in my opinion. What? Justice? Not good? Because social justice and equal justice are incompatible with each other, because it's not equal justice based on the individual, it's justice based on class and not on individuals. And I believe in individual equal justice. And you're never going to get perfect equal justice. You want to come out gamer. Yeah, of course, rich people are always going to get better lawyers, and whether they actually bribe judges, which has happened in the history of the world, of course. Yeah, or just simply better lawyers and but we strive for equal justice. I don't strive for social justice. Okay, superior strength advance. So yeah, there ends our modern day politics stuff. But okay, we will continue with this. So it will come up in this series, but not a whole lot, hopefully. Okay, well, we are down. Let's see, the USA. Okay, they don't have a deficit of money. The Soviet Union. Okay, they have lots of money. Do they want to buy supplies? I know they don't specifically need it. No, they don't. Okay, well, let's come up to the top here and sort by money. Italy could use supplies, looks like. They've got money, and I'd rather right now sell supplies than fuel. Nope. Let's see if we could. Okay, let's see. They have 16. Oh, what do they need for fuel? Oh, a lot of fuel. Okay. I don't overly do it. Yeah, that looks good. We'll just see if we can get a reasonable deal going with Italy. Get us back into the green. And so I'm just to continue to talk while we're here. When you're playing, I would suggest keeping this saves in the save game folder. And if you know about how to make the same save game folder in your same Hearts of Iron, we'll have a look at that in a moment. Hearts of Iron folder, the dot thing to do that, user directory file is what I'm talking about there. If you know, hopefully know that, Rick. If not, read my install guide or watch my install guide somewhere, and there's the tip on how to set that up. Is keep just a handful, meaning 5 or less saves are best in that folder. Move the rest out. Keep them, but just stick them in some other folder. So if you want to go back 6 months, a year, or whatever, if there's a reason to go back, you can still do so. And just try to keep from having crash. Okay, Stormtrooper tactics. Again, those are the World War I Stormtroopers, not the Stormtroopers from a galaxy far, far away. Did we complete them? Is that what I'm not seeing? Nope, they're up here. Okay, yes, continue. Good. We want to do that. And although there's very little, there's a little bit, but very little sort of trench raiding type tactics in World War II, there is still sort of the fire and movement tactics that do sort of help out, and really changes the tactics from, say, pre-World War I, early World War I, or whatever, to the sort of fire and movement tactics. Okay, Addis Ababa massacre. I don't know if I've really covered this at all in any playthroughs. I don't know much about it at all. An attempt an attempted assassination of Marshal Rudolfo Graziani occurred on February 19, 1937. Two young Eritreans. Interesting that they're Eritreans and not Ethiopians. And why is it happening in Addis Ababa? Because Eritreans are, I think there may be several different tribal groups. I don't know details. But Eritrea is primarily a Muslim country. It is now an independent country. It was a colony. At times, I think, definitely controlled by Ethiopia after World War II. But at times before, historically, may have been controlled by Ethiopia. Where Ethiopia is a sort of its own Christian sect that does have very, very legitimate Jewish religious background. I do believe, and as they themselves talk about, sort of Queen Bathsheba was a real person who was from that part of the world, whether it's a little more over near where the port of Aden was, or it's more in Ethiopia, or all of that sort of, I'm not exactly sure. But she goes up and sort of brings back Judaism from the time of King David. So there is a Judaic elements in that part of the world, whether it's specifically what we would call Ethiopia today or more coastal cities. I don't know. I don't know what the archaeology shows, but there's definite Judaic elements, pre-Christian, timeline down there. And then Christianity comes down there, and you get sort of this hybrid mix of, well, obviously Christianity comes out of Judaism, but sort of because they have the whole Ark of the Covenant, the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones looking for the Ark that carries the Ten Commandments tablets. So you have that's what I'm talking about. That sort of blend tradition and so you have that very strong blend into their version of Christianity that going on down there. So that is a very long and ancient tradition. So often the Eritreans were and other Muslim tribal groups, ethnic groups, whatever you want to call them, in and around Ethiopia were actually sort of kind of pro-Italian, because the Italians, they were sort of suppressed by the Christians. So it's interesting. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this. Okay. Handful of hand grenades to kill the supreme governor and viceroy but only injured him lightly. The Italian response was immediate. For 2 days, security forces were given carte blanche to kill any Ethiopian in the city. Carabinieri, okay. That is never a good idea, just to go on a murder rampage. You might somewhat legitimately decide to, I'm being careful here because I'm serious about this, might legitimately go on and now of course in the past it's not as effective or efficient as you would in a modern situation, go on a hunt for the organization, not just the actual attackers, but the organization that is committing acts of terrorism. Whether you consider, trying to free your country from Italian oppression, very well may be a legitimate. Oh yeah, we got to look here. Okay, well, we have our own spies, counter-espionage. We have extra spies. So just either our quality of our spies. Let's start seeing. Well, Britain. Let's give them a few spies, and we'll give them tech espionage. Steal us some ship blueprint planes or something, or radars, or I don't know, whatnot. They may have some bonuses on. So yeah, I'm not saying trying to kill the enemy occupiers isn't a legit exercise, but it's also, I would say, a legit exercise for a government to. I'm just going to do a safety save here. Okay, that happened nice and fast. Very good. To try to suppress that. So rounding up people, questioning people. That doesn't mean torturing, just questioning people, trying to figure out what's going on and trying to hunt down an organization that is committing assassination attempts. That's a legitimate action. Murder parties, not so much. Okay. Artillery unit training advance. Very nice. Okay, that would be... not here. That would be huh? Artillery theory +1. Artillery unit meaning level 2. Is it? Oh, this is what I do, sort of. Okay, it's this one. It's 37. Okay. We'll leave this. We'll come back and get those when we sort of get there. But yeah, let's start working through some of these. Okay, the Sudetendeutsches Partei, that's just, right now, that's obviously the Germans in Czechoslovakia. There will be an upcoming event that will be, hey, do you want to support the SDP and its attempts? And you'll probably want to say yes if you want to go down the sort of historical Munich conference type path. Great War analysis. Okay, we're looking at the Great War and we're analyzing it. We're going to continue doing that. Now, of course, Great War analysis for Germany was, hey, this is all that went sort of wrong. How do we change it? Where France looks at it and goes, this is Great War analysis. What went right? How do we keep doing it just better? So, hey, yeah, the FT-17 tank was great with a gun or a machine gun. Well, why don't we just make a two-man tank that has a machine gun and a 37mm gun? The same 37mm gun. Yeah, that works. So instead of what went wrong to make it better, what went right, and let's just do it a little better. So the 1940 French army was like the best army to win World War I. Fortunately, they weren't fighting World War I. We give them money for rare materials. Nah, I don't need to get Egypt friendly. They're going to disappear. Oh, we will no longer receive money from our fuel from the Soviet Union. That's going to cut into our income. Ouch. Unless we hadn't been getting it for a while. Sometimes some of that stuff oh, that's an ouch. Yeah. That's an ouch. Okay. They've got money, but they don't have. They have. Oh, no, we're on the wrong country. Click. Oh no. What? Are we having another problem here? I think we may have been having another problem. Okay. Can we sell them? No, they're not buying. Damn. Later on, once we get the or once we get the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact and whatnot, they'll be able to buy from us. Oh, USA probably doesn't have any money. Let's go name. Yeah, they don't have much money. No, not enough that they want to buy anything. Okay, South Africa. Would they buy from us? Probably not, no. Australia. Again, not likely, but Switzerland, they have a little bit of money. I'd love to do a small little trading deal with you. Nope. Okay, well, maybe something will come up, or we'll have to cut back on some of our imports. Steel casting capabilities have improved. Okay, we're just 36 there, so we'll let that continue. SA sentry boxes, still, that's that's from the actual manual for the So that the sentry boxes all over Germany for the SA all look like the same. So they actually had in their, I'm going to try to pronounce that, magazine, sort of the dimensions and all that. It's a little sort of side peephole kind of thing. I would still love if someone were to found me a period historical photo, but in color, because it looks glossy, a glossy red, because that's a red coating with the swastika there. Photo, I would love that. I'll get you a Steam code. Well, I have some Steam codes for some war game type things. I'll give you a shot at something like that as a reward if you find me that. Okay, lose supplies. Yes, we're being forced to do the Graf Zeppelin 2. Graf Zeppelin 1 is still flying. We've seen it in this mod so far, but they want to update it. Okay. 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 We're going to accept their offer of trade, I'm presuming. Okay, so not liking that. Okay, so we're going to save this. Notice I should have some more of those there, I think. Okay. I think we're going to end the episode here. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. I know we've had some trouble this episode, but hopefully we can keep continuing. I'm game if you guys are. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.